So this weekend has been all about love. And we've been sending greetings of love to family members and friends and lovers. And there are sweet, sexy greetings, and there are friendly, cute greetings, and there are ironic greetings, funny greetings, there are grumpy greetings. It's hard to talk about love because it just comes in all the shimmering shades of the rainbow, including 50 shades of gray, I hear. About that, the Unitarian Universalist group Leather and Grace has put out a statement which you can find online. So what I want to talk about this morning is about how it's our purpose in life to learn how to love and be loved, to give out love and to receive love, to feel it both ways. And that's just my idea of the purpose of life. You're welcome to your own. One of the reasons I love the songs that Brent and I talked about having today is that this is a group called the Magnetic Fields. Kaya and I used the Book of Love in our wedding last year. I think he's so forthright about love the way it really is, so awkward. And when you first meet someone, you think, are you cuckoo or am I cuckoo? How long do I need to know you before we find that out for sure? And can my cuckoo-ness exist with your cuckoo-ness? And we know the Book of Love is long. And there are so many things in there that we're too young to know. When I was in seminary, we learned that love is a matter of will. This is what they teach you in seminary. Love is a matter of will, and you choose every day to love the people you're loving. And that's kind of true, not the whole truth, although, well, anyway, so I married a classmate, a guy. We were married for 17 years. And whenever we would talk about love in the abstract, intellectually, he would say, yes, we love with our will. And I would say, I just want to be loved passionately and unreasonably because I'm fabulous. And he would laugh a little and say, oh, you're one of those romantics. And after a while, it became kind of unsatisfying to feel like you were loved with somebody's will. I know now that that wasn't true. Because when I left the marriage after 17 years, I thought maybe if he was willing to love me, he could just kind of will not to love me anymore, and it would be cool. But it was crazy and horrible, as any of you all who have been divorced know. It was horrible. In the Christian scriptures, which most of you know this one passage, whether you grew up in a church or not, because it's read at almost every wedding, in the letter of Paul to the people in Corinth, the Corinthians, he wrote a long description about love, and this is part of it. And I like this description. Love is patient, love is kind. It does not envy, it does not boast, it is not proud. It does not dishonor others. It is not self-seeking. It is not easily angered. It keeps no record of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. So I don't call myself a Christian anymore, but I admire the Christians who proclaim God is love and who proclaim this is what love is. And if they're consistent, I admire them even more. Because then they believe in a God who's patient and kind and is not jealous or boastful and is not easily angered and does not keep a record of wrongs. That is a perfectly lovely picture of God, and it confuses me when some among them in that faith seem to depict a God who is easily angered and who definitely keeps a record of wrongs and who's jealous and boastful and not hopeful and not trusting. Now, human love relationships, I'm mostly going to talk about adult-to-adult partner, spouse, marriage relationships this morning, but patience and kindness is hard enough when you have two adults. It's very hard in parental love with children. You can be patient to a certain extent, but anybody who's lived with children, I just want to, whenever I see someone expounding about love with a really serene look on their face, like the Dalai Lama, I just want to say, I want to see you after a week with 4 3-year-olds. Then we'll talk. Patience is very hard, and kindness is very hard, but these are the things to which we aspire. These are the things that our perfect view of love has, like the little girl's heart at the intergenerational craft event. We have sparkly little diamonds, and we go, next time when I fall in love, it's going to be great, and I'm going to do it just right, and I'm going to find out all those things I've neglected to find out before, and I'm going to believe them when they show me who they are. And we make all these resolutions. And then, if we're unlucky or human, we end up 10 years later going, wow, I am in a similar. And then, if you're spiritual and enlightened, you go, is it me? Which is very inconvenient. I think the Book of Love as a song depicts a great courage and a great open-heartedness. It says, the Book of Love is long and boring. No one can lift the damn thing. It's full of charts and facts and figures and instructions for dancing. But I love it when you read to me, and you can read me anything. The Book of Love has music in it. In fact, that's where music comes from. Some of it is just transcendental, and some of it is really dumb. But I love it when you sing to me, and you can sing me anything. That's courage. You're willing for you and your someone to have the Book of Love between you and read to each other from any page? Really? So many of us have pretty strict rules about what we like to be talked to about and what we don't like to be talked to about. And some people have a big list. Here are the words and language you can use. Here are the words and language you can't use. I don't want to hear about any of your exes. I don't really want to talk about my drinking. I don't really want to talk about using. Don't talk to me about money. For me personally, I'll confess, it's nutrition. I can talk about nutrition for 35 seconds, sometimes 37. I was with an acupuncturist one time, and she started talking to me about flaxseed, and she said, oh, and you can't use the capsules because that's worse than useless. You have to get the fresh, and you have to have a special grinder, like you have a coffee grinder, and then you have your flaxseed grinder, and you put it on top, and I'm like, okay, whoa. I don't want to hear about this anymore. I have a little tiny bit inside that can receive nutrition stuff, and it's full. Nutrition and music theory. My dad, bless his gorgeous heart, tried to teach me music theory from the time I was 2. And some of it got in there before I could close off. But, and bless Kaya's heart too, because she went to music school. And she wants to tell me about what she's learning. And you get to music theory and I go, I don't want to hear about 2-5-1 substitution in jazz theory. Don't want to hear about it. Don't want to know what it means. Not interested. My dad also, bless his heart, tries to teach me calculus. I'm good at math until you get to calculus. And then something in me just goes, mm-mm. So my then 17-year-old youngest son and I were sitting in the kitchen with my dad. And my dad starts sketching on a pad because he's a teacher. He can't stop teaching. And my son is a very sweet English major, songwriter, rock star in LA. Soon to be. We'll say it till it's true. And my dad starts teaching him about, I guess it's trigonometry. There's a guy standing in the sun. There's the sun, there's the guy, there's the shadow, there's the triangle, there's the hypotenuse of the triangle. And my dad is really having fun, but my son is not. And I open my notebook and I start writing a story about this happening. And my dad goes, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm writing the story of what's happening right now." And he said, "You need to pay attention." I said, "No, I don't." He said, "But you're not going to learn this." I'm like, "Right." I don't want to learn it. That is heresy in the Barnhouse household. Not trigonometry, not calculus, not 2-5-1 substitution in jazz theory, not nutrition, not solfege. Don't start with the do, re, mi. No. You can go do, fa, fa, so, la, 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 la. No. And if you keep going, I'll cry. But I'm wrong about that. You can't have those kind of rules about loving conversation. I mean, it's good to have a rule inside your own self. I'm not going to talk to my partner about something that makes her cry after 40 seconds. But you should come to it with an open heart. That is very hard, especially after you're old. I'm 375, and I have a heart that looks like that lady's in the story, and it's battered, and it's got scars on it, and it has experiences, and it's been, broken personally and impersonally by the news, for God's sake, and holes in it. Oy, you can't imagine. And so having the courage to come open-hearted to a relationship, to a conversation, to a congregation, to any kind of situation where you come without expectations and you say, "I'm not subject to disappointment. You can talk to me about anything." Very, very courageous, vulnerable, difficult. I'm not as good at it as I would like to eventually be. There's plenty out there that says it's love, but it's not. There's a story in the Christian scriptures that says, which of you, if your child asks for bread, will give them a stone? I feel that I was deeply loved as a child. I feel that I asked for bread to nourish my soul, and I was given the stone of Reformed theology over and over again. I need to think I'm fabulous. Well, honey, you're a wretch and a miserable sinner. But Jesus' daddy killed him so that you don't have to go to hell. Isn't that great? I know that that is not the best way to tell that story. And yet it's the way it boiled down to me after 3 years at Princeton Seminary and many 15 years of being a Presbyterian minister. I was confused even at the end, and I was like, Has anyone gone as far down the road with that particular philosophy, theology, as I have? Have they gone 3 years to Princeton Seminary? Have they lived for 15 years as a minister of this faith, doing your absolute best to make it make sense? No, there are very few people who have gone as far down that road. When people go, oh, you're just bitter, you don't understand Christianity. Oh, yes, I do. Yes, I do. I don't think a lot of Islam or Judaism either. I'm sorry to say that. But any of the major world religions are really hard on women and girls and gay people. There's not one of them that's great. If God is patient, kind, not jealous or boastful, slow to anger, plenteous in steadfast love, all of the things we're told, then why are all the religions so hard on women, girls, and gay people? And they're hard on men too. Men have to be head of the household. That's a lot of pressure. Men have to know everything. Men can't ask questions. Men can't ask directions. Men shouldn't be gay. They have to be interested. It's just there's so many destructive ideas that people, either they come out of religion or people use religion to foment the bad ideas. Still not clear. Maybe it's just human nature to want to hammer on each other and use religion to do it. I cannot believe God wants anything to do with that. So, loving takes courage. Being loved takes courage too. I've told you before, I used to have, I still do, very, very short New Year's resolutions. And one year it was tell the truth, which I always did, I thought, but it turned out I wasn't telling the truth to myself about stuff. So I had to tell the truth to myself. Plus, I had to stop with the social lies for that whole year, which was quite awkward. And when people said things like, what do you think of clogging? I would have to say, clogging holds a very special place in my heart. And usually they would let it go with that because people don't ask you too many times what you think of clogging, but we were in the Appalachian region at the time, and so there was a right bit of it going on. And what I meant was clogging holds a place in my heart where I think about what hell would be like. And for me, a description of hell is you're at a state fair, 95-degree heat, 95% humidity. You're trying to do paperwork. There's a flatbed truck full of white people clogging right behind you to a slowed-down version of Give Me That Old-Time Rock and Roll. I was actually in that situation when that idea came to me. I had a resolution one year to be quiet. But it was good for me because I didn't jump into discussions first. I let other people dominate conversations. I tried to be quiet inside. That was helpful. Then one year it floated into my head, I don't have a resolution for this year, I thought. And then I thought, I'm really obsessed with the question of what would it be like to really feel like you were loved? How would that affect you? To really know deep down that that river of love was running through you, or that the people around you just adored you, or that your partner really was absolutely in love with you. In the song, one of the songs that Brent sang, it says, I know you can't be in love with me, that's impossible. What would it be like to really believe that you were loved? And so I thought, I'm going to really believe, I'm going to explore that this year. I'm going to really believe that I'm loved. And I felt when I practiced it that my breathing got deeper, I felt steadier and sturdier and more hopeful. And then I thought, oh my goodness, if I don't continue to try to improve myself, I'm going to turn into a hunk of self-satisfied goo. And then I remembered Kant's universal principle, and he said, if you're trying to make a decision, think, what would the earth be like, the world be like, if everyone on earth did this every day? And I thought, if everyone just stopped self-improving every day and just loved the way they were, I'm not sure how that would be. But if everyone were always driving and self-improving and every day, would that be a sweeter world? Not sure. So I decided that every other day, I would try to improve myself and find the flaws and work on them, etc. Beat myself up a little bit, know how to do that. And then on alternate days, I would feel this. This is what Martha Graham wrote to Agnes de Mille, two dancers, beautiful letter that Martha Graham wrote. And she said, there's a vitality, a life force, an energy, a quickening that is translated through you into action. And because there's only one of you in all time, this expression is unique. And if you block it, it will never exist through any other medium, and it will be lost. And the world will not have it. It is not your business to determine how good it is, or how valuable, or how it compares with other expressions. It is your business to keep it yours, clearly and directly, to keep the channel open. So every other day, we can all agree that loving yourself and being happy with the way you are is just complete New Age pap. And that we're going to sharpen our intellectual claws in each other and challenge each other and try to improve each other and try to improve ourselves and leave the claw marks so that we can feel like we've really had it given to us like the old-time hellfire, only our own version. And then every other day, maybe we can just say, I am going to love me the way I am. And my hunch is that when we're loving ourselves the way we are, change is more possible than when we are beating ourselves up. I don't know. I invite you to try the experiment. I'll look forward to hearing what you find out.